What are some things that keep us safe? When I thought about it, I came up with stuff like a seatbelt or a helmet, a life jacket, or maybe a locked door, things like that. Well, was rejoicing in the Lord on your list? I'm guessing it wasn't, but it should be. Hi, I'm Steve with Looking Intently. I put out 3 short Bible study videos each week. Right now I'm going through the book of Philippians, and if you want to be notified of all the new videos, click the subscribe button in the lower right and also click that bell icon. And then to catch up on the past videos in this series, you can click the tag in the upper right. Also, speaking of a book in a series, I need input. Which book do you want me to do next? I'm getting ready to prep for that. So give me your suggestions in the comments below. I will say I'm going to favor the shorter books because, as you can tell, it takes a lot of videos to get through even a 4-chapter book of the Bible. So put those down below and I'll be selecting something after this week. Well, in Philippians chapter 3, verse 1, Paul says, "Finally, my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you is no trouble to me and is safe for you." Well, I thought about that. No trouble to me to write the same things. He's already talked about rejoicing 4 times. He's going to mention it 2 other times. In verse 4, one you're probably familiar with, rejoice in the Lord always. And then he says, again, I will say, rejoice. It says, it's no trouble to me. And it made me think, yeah, that's even before the days of copy and paste. It's definitely no trouble today. It was a little bit more back then, but Paul says, no, it's no trouble. And obviously it's important for him to repeat it. And he adds this comment then. It is safe for you. How does rejoicing in the Lord keep us safe? I think the answer is that the habit of rejoicing creates an attitude in us. We could call it an attitude of gratitude. I rejoice about what I'm grateful for. And in that attitude that it develops, it helps shield us, protect us. It keeps us safe from at least 3 things I thought of. The first one is the temptation to sin. Why is it we choose to disobey God's principles? Well, because for whatever reason, we think we won't be satisfied if we do obey them. We don't disobey them. And we see this from the very beginning. Genesis chapter 3, verse 6, talking about Eve, says, "So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate." She wasn't satisfied with all the other trees, with not knowing what that fruit tasted like, with her perceived level of wisdom. And it's the same thing for us. We disobey God because for whatever reason we're not satisfied. Well, if we make a habit of rejoicing and develop an attitude of gratitude, we'll realize God and what He's done and what He says to do or not to do, that is satisfying. It meets my needs. It really fulfills me. But I need to focus on that and not be distracted by sin, the temptation to sin. I think it also shields us, keeps us safe from legalism. Notice it says, rejoice in the Lord, what the Lord has done for us. And specifically regarding this, rejoice in God's grace. Legalism is this idea, God hasn't done enough for us. I need to do more. Whatever it is, Christ's sacrifice wasn't enough. I need to earn it. No. When I rejoice in God's grace, I develop an attitude of gratitude that Jesus paid the full price. I've received it freely. I don't have to earn it, and it shields me from that dangerous and ever-present temptation to think my works contribute and to think that they earn it. Paul talks about that a lot in this book and throughout the New Testament. Gratitude, rejoicing in the Lord, shields us from this also. And then it also shields us from inaction. Specifically regarding being a witness for Christ. Just stop and think. When I'm excited about something, when I'm happy about something, I tell everyone, right? If you've ever discovered a new restaurant that has good food, what do? You told your friends, hey, check it out. I can promise you, if I ever discover that someone has perfected the pizza diet, eat all the pizza you want and lose weight, well, I will be excited, I will rejoice, and I'll tell everyone. That's just natural. And so if we make a habit of just ingraining, God, here's all the things I'm grateful for, I rejoice about them with you, well, that's going to then overflow in our lives and be part of that witness we're to be to others for Christ. I did make the point that this attitude of gratitude comes from the habit of rejoicing. And so that means we have to do it. We have to choose to do it. And so as we think about some ways to apply this today, the question that I would ask is not, am I grateful? Because our answer to that can be very subjective. Well, yeah, I think so. The real question we need to ask ourselves is how and how often do I express my gratitude? When is the last time you rejoiced in the Lord? What's that look like for you? I think it's different for different people. And for some, it might be writing it down in their journal. For others, it might be singing, some sharing something with a friend, maybe bits and pieces of others or more. Find out. I would encourage you, ask yourself, how often do I rejoice? And what's that even look like for me? What are some ways that I can do that, can express that, so that that attitude then of gratitude will help protect me and keep me safe from the temptations that are all around?